It's like, great. Hooray!
Japanese depictions of one-quarter white girls.
Racisms.
You're probably going to have to wait a while.
I just assumed you were waiting because, as a right-wing white supremacist in your right-wing supremacist country of Canada, you just didn't want to see foreign stuff. So. Oh, sorry. You said they're probably very intelligent, and I don't believe that.
I sneezed as well, but I hit the button.
Oh, well, I didn't do it because I did it on purpose.
It worked for once.
I know you've done loads of videos on like Persona 4.
We've done some Persona 4 videos, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's been a Persona 5 video yet.
No. But like I say, with this I have very little knowledge of it, but it's a bit like I'm coming from it as is and problematic. It's like, well, let's see what they say, and it's a bit like if I who has very little knowledge of the series thinks, well, I don't see what the problem, she doesn't seem problematic to a normie. It's like, why would she be problematic to someone who's got vast knowledge of character? And like most of these things usually turn out to, it just turns into their opinion, and it's just like, oh, I don't like this because insert left-wing ideological claim or something.
I mean, it's going to be, I can almost guarantee, I haven't watched this video yet, but I can almost guarantee it's going to be about her being inappropriately sexualized.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's probably going to be the point, is that he pressures her into dating him, and then in the next chapter of the story, they make some jokes about her needing to strip. That's probably what it's going to be.
Mm. Yeah, that does. Yeah. Anyway.
First, I want to say that Persona 5 is
What was
amazing.
that?
I absolutely love it, and I highly encourage you to play it yourself, or at least watch the anime adaptation of it, as this video will be going into spoilers. Now, like I said, I love Persona 5 so much. I never got to play Persona 4, but I watched the anime and fell in love with the idea of the games, and as soon as I heard there was a new Persona game coming out, I made sure I was able to get my hands on it. And the game definitely did not disappoint. The gameplay is fun and engaging, there's a great level of difficulty without relying on hours of
I have an objection here. Persona 5 is piss easy.
Was it that bad?
Excellent. Excellent. This is... Do not offend the girl gamers. We should be glad to have them. She really tried hard. I bet she really tried hard.
Yeah, just get Yosuke and Ryuji and just attack everyone.
Listen, it's very difficult. It's more complicated than Candy Crush. Give them, cut them some slack.
Like Persona 5 is not even a difficult Persona game, and the Persona games are not even difficult SMT games. You can basically auto battle your way through Persona 5 on the hardest difficulty.
Okay.
Oh, it's great.
I've heard such complaints about Xenoblade too, but honestly, they're not true. Or you can, but then it takes, with the enemies that it takes the 2 hours of auto attack. That's kind of...
Oh, sure. I'm just saying, like, and don't get me wrong, I love Persona 5. I've played it like 10 or 11 times, but it's not difficult. It does not have a high degree of difficulty at all. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the greater topic of the video, but it was a bone of contention that I already have.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
All right, let's get going.
favorite aspect was the relationships I made with the various characters scattered across the game. It's not just the Phantom Thieves. I love developing the relationships with all of the characters, from the hot doctor, to the sketchy guy selling me prop guns, to even the twin wardens harassing me in my dreams. Now, not to discredit Persona 5, but it definitely had some big shoes to fill. Even just by watching the anime, the characters from Persona 4 were groundbreakingly amazing. The development with you throughout the
they're good. They're not groundbreakingly amazing. I don't know what the hell she's talking.
Yeah. I will say they're better than the characters in Persona 3 in general.
Yeah.
I think the highs are better in Persona 3, but there's a lot of characters in Persona 3 are just boring.
Yeah, 3 is sort of dead serious, and 4 is very lighthearted, and 5 is like a mix of the two.
How do they rank in relation to Neptune games?
Oh, God.
In relation to what?
Neptunia.
I'm not Alex Salo. You'll have to ask him about that. I don't play the
Alex?
Neptunia games.
Alex is
I
not
own
here.
them all, but I don't play them too much.
Yeah. But,
but yeah,
4 is fun.
I would say the word groundbreaking does get used quite a lot.
Yeah.
Things that aren't actually groundbreaking. I just feel like it's a go-to word.
Yeah, a lot of
it's people who've never experienced anything before see something for the first time that we've seen 30 times beforehand, because we consume more stuff and probably have been on the planet for longer. And so they go, this is some groundbreaking because I have never seen this done ever before.
Yeah, especially if Persona 5 was, or Persona 4, if that was your first exposure, like to the franchise, and this person is probably fairly young.
Yeah, if you look at...
She sounds more like middle-aged mom.
Oh, God. Well, if you look at the characters in Persona 4, they all have a comedic angle to them. There's something goofy and funny and silly and lighthearted. Even with Kanji and Naoto, they have this element to them, the soft side that sort of comes out slowly. And
I think the key point... Yeah, go on. Sorry.
And 3, it's only like... It's just so serious. Everyone's dying. Everyone gets killed. It's parts, not the the ending, But everything's different. Everything's very dead serious, and everyone's gonna die. There's this big, thing this big countdown to the end of the year. I can't remember exactly what it was. But with 5, it's sort of you're rebelling against society. You're stealing stuff from people. You're altering their minds. It's pretty wild stuff. Like you're actually, if I go through this metaphorical maze and take the treasure of someone's heart, their minds change. You're basically Professor X in a flashier suit. So
my question here is, what detail did she mean with groundbreaking? Because if it's just Persona 5, she played the 5th game in a series that uses the same general ideas, mainly, kinda. And that means that ground had been broken 4 times before.
Yeah.
Unless she tells me what exactly she means that's here, but not in the ones before.
Because Persona 5, the Persona series is a little weird. The games aren't really interconnected. And Persona 1 and 2 are very tonally and mechanically different from Personas 3, 4, and 5. It's kind of difficult to explain.
Yeah.
It involves the Shin Megami Tensei series, which is
something else.
Labyrinthine.
It's a dungeon crawler. They're both really dungeon crawlers, both Shin Megami as well as Persona. Persona is just, they take those elements, they streamline a few of them, and they throw on this whole high school scheduling system. And you have to like that time investment of like 60 to 80 hours at least to go through the games. It takes so long. They go through the calendar. You're a school kid. You have to study. You have to go on dates. You have to go to band practice.
Oh, I
can see why the girl likes that.
Yeah, lots of organization.
That sounds. If you just take that part, that sounds like a girl game.
No, I didn't have time for that as a teenager, let alone as an adult.
I was annoyed.
I can't be doing dating.
The difference is with the Persona series from 3 on, they stylize it enough so the music and the believe it or not, the GUI, especially in 5, help you along. It makes it feel fun. So
all right,
it's not the best way of dealing with the problem of scheduling, but it makes it cool. Plus with 5, because you have that split sort of identity of I'm a rebel, I'm also an ex-convict because I was part of some weird was it a murder scenario? I can't remember what exactly the reason why he got transferred to schools, but you have this sort of dark horse vibe to you. Plus when you beef up your stats, there's actually parts in the game like I don't know, I think a teacher throws a piece of chalk at you. If your stats are high enough, you'll naturally just dodge out of the way. This happens in other scenarios as well. I don't know how eating hamburgers makes you stronger, though. That's a little weird.
Eating hamburgers makes you more courageous.
Oh, okay.
Not stronger.
Okay.
And it's because you're doing like eating challenges. It boosts your courage and your endurance.
Yeah. It's kind of goofy.
They must have less estrogen in their burgers in Japan.
Oh, they're gigantic. This burger is like the size of the plate it's served on.
Burgers as tall as your torso.
Which is similar to Persona 4.
10 patties or something.
They had the beef bowl challenge. Yeah, that was a bit different. Anyway.
Story has left a huge impact on the world of the Shin Megami games, arguably being the biggest reason the games are as popular as they are now. So I went in cautiously when I slowly grew my team of Phantom Thieves. I didn't want to set my expectations too high by comparing these characters with our beloved classics. And I'm happy to say I was not disappointed. These characters are charming and fun and unique all in their own right. However, there is one Phantom Thief who ended up as a bit of a disappointment. An Takamaki. An is the 4th member to join our hero team.
Is she a cross between Russian and Japanese? I was trying to figure it out. I couldn't remember.
No, she's Japanese and American.
Okay.
And
she's like 1/4 American.
I gotcha. Okay.
off the team as soon as I could. On.
Oh, no wonder you thought the game was hard if you didn't use On. She's the best healer you have.
Wait, what?
The support team that keeps you alive.
She said the game was hard, and now she's saying she didn't use On. On is the best. On is your best source of magical damage output.
I really enjoyed Call of Duty, but I found it difficult. Anyway, I stopped using guns because I found it kind of problematic. Well, yeah.
I mean, this is a challenge run, it sounds like.
Maybe that's the way she plays, or he plays, that just sort of this...
Well, she plays that way because she doesn't like On. She's about to do the sex jokes thing, like I said. That's what's coming here, is the sex joke thing.
Let's make Xenoblade without Pyra, Mithra, and Poppy.
Yeah, it's like
I know.
It's like it really is. It's like not using
magic. Yeah.
It's going through an RPG without a Final Fantasy game without your white mage.
Are there other healers?
Well, you can use items, but you have to spend a lot of money.
There is another healer. He's not as good.
So
On has a lot better support skills and a lot more magic damage output.
All right.
How big's your party in this game?
You can use up to 4 at a time.
Yeah.
There's 7 total characters.
So that sounds like she'll usually be on the team.
Typically.
Well, you could always mix
you
and
might
match.
switch her out because she uses all fire damage. If you run into enemies
exactly.
are resistant or immune or reflect or absorb fire. Yeah. But generally, she's going to be on your team because she has healing damage and a lot of good support skills.
Yeah. Due to the nature of the game, you could build up their persona, give them new personas that they grow as you have better social links with them. So they grow as the story progresses usually. So,
yeah, that's the incentive to go on to do the relationship building mechanic, is that it makes the characters stronger. It has in-combat benefits.
Right, and one of those benefits is a skill, which I believe is called Tag, and you could just swap people out during combat. So there's no reason not to use On in some capacity, even if she's not in your main party. So if you need a healer, you use a healer. It's not about, I don't like her as a character. It's like you're dying. You need someone to heal.
Yeah, it's like there's always been, like, especially playing a lot of RPGs, there's always a character you don't like. Be like, I need to use this character, otherwise I can't get past this part. It's like I'll use them for this mission or something.
Yeah, happens a lot.
I mean, and there are characters I don't like in Persona 5 also, but like she's about to say she benched On because this is the I don't like that the game aimed at teenage boys does things to appeal to teenage boys thing.
Yeah.
That's all it ever is.
Yeah.
I didn't use the Swamp Cook thing in Final Fantasy IX, but that is also an irrelevant character.
Yeah.
It's not like the main part of your party.
Yeah.
Tough luck.
I played a lot of games where I've gone like, I don't really want to use this character, but I have to. It's like
I play Warcraft 3, but I don't use the hero units. Oh, the game is so hard.
It's like in every BioWare game that I've ever played, there's always that one companion that you just can't stand, and you've got to use them until you get their replacement. And it's like, well, shit.
Oh yeah, that fairy in Baldur's Gate 2.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning from the circus. God, she's so annoying.
Anyway,
All right.
Lots of examples that we know. Function over story. So.
Just doesn't sit right with me. And the more of her story I uncovered, the more I found myself put off by her character. So what's her problem? Well, I'll just get right to the point. her over-sexualization.
Ah,
Seeing one of my main characters
No. We stop right here. Not over. Just. If you say this, it's only sexualization. Because you people only talk in superlatives. It's always over-sexualization. There's a little bit of skin. Oh, we can see her ankle. Over-sexualization.
Look at what she's showing here.
Yeah,
she's showing On's thigh.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, we can see a bit of her ankle. Yeah. Oh God, I'm fainting.
She's wringing out a wet kimono.
Mm-hmm.
And even this scene is played for jokes because the guys know what's going on, and they're all trying not to look.
Well, that's what she's going to complain about is that teenage boys act like teenage boys in this scene.
Yeah.
And in the game.
Whoa.
And she's going to complain that she doesn't want that. She doesn't want to have to, she doesn't want that to have to happen. Even though I'm going to pull it out like I always do in these situations. The game wasn't made for you, honey.
Yeah, think of...
And you may think I'm... Okay, I may be jumping to conclusions here, but I've seen this so often now that I will have to assume. I will assume until proven otherwise at this point, because I've seen it too often, exactly like this. She has a rather deep voice. She's probably not the best looking girl. So she is jealous of pretty girls showing off. That's why she doesn't like pretty girls showing off, because it reminds her that she's not so pretty.
And whatever the reason, she's going to couch it in, her setup is she was being pressured into dating by the evil teacher in the first chapter, and then she gets sexualized even though blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Sexual harassment from the teacher, except that the whole point of her character is that she's coping with that and trying to reclaim some control over her life.
Yeah, because raped girls don't just end up as super chaste women.
Well,
that would be horrible.
All throughout the series, there's always been the one or two really attractive characters that are either on the team or part of the family of these people. Persona 4 had Yukiko, I think. She was sort of like the sweetheart of the class.
Well, Persona 4 would be Rise.
Well, that was Rise is kind of like the pop idol they're supposed to like, and there's this crowd of people that like her, but she's just a nice, cute girl. That's about it. I don't see anything inherently sexual about her. Whereas Yukiko is like the traditional Japanese-looking... It's like, oh yeah, her family owns a spa restaurant thing.
An inn.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, there's the traditional. Then you have Chie, she's like this tomboy. And in the third game, there's Mitsuru. She's like the hot, red, rich girl who's really mature and sophisticated. So these are pretty common themes to depict these girls as desirable and attractive. Not in an overly sexual way, though. Just in... they're this unattainable flower. You could never achieve that. And you help them out with their lives and their problems like you do in every game. So it's normal. Anne has her own issues to deal with. She has some pretty scary ones. She loses a friend. Does the friend die or not? I can't remember. I know she tries to commit suicide and doesn't succeed. But she has to move away. So she has to, correspond with them in some other way. So it's pretty sad, like what happens with Anne's story, but it's not some weird, creepy, look at all the male gaze of Anne's legs, or when she's wearing a bikini. It's like she doesn't care. She's a model. She gets through it. She grows up. It's not a big deal. So if the character is mature and accepting, and the group with her is also accepting of that, why does the audience not feel the same way? Why do we have to feel awkward? Like what's causing her... Yeah.
Because the audience in this case is a Western, probably, I'm going to go out on a limb here, fat white girl.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no offense, it's like I'm just looking obviously at the ball screen. And I'm like, wow, an actual attractive woman in a video game. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen one of those.
Well, this game is Japanese, so
yeah, but it's just a bit like the minute that any woman looks half attractive, there's always someone going, well, this is rather problematic, and I'm like, really? And it's just like,
yeah, a cute girl is problematic. It's like, why?
Yeah.
And she's probably gonna, you know,
well, she's
all concerned over the fact that An is only 16.
Yeah, but these are the same people who
16-year-old girls have already explored their sexuality for at least 2 years.
Well, and like it's a game again. This is a game aimed at teenagers.
Yes,
it's I believe
who
rated
are
M
doing
in
exactly
the West.
that at that age.
I think it's rated M in the United States, but in Japan, I think it's rated maybe 15, 16 plus.
Yeah, because in Japan, the people are more mature. We're all children here in the West.
Yeah, but the thing is, what point I was going to make just then was the same people who are going like, well, she's been objectified and all this and all that. You put a picture of Chris Hemsworth with his shirt off, they'll love it. They'll not see anything wrong with it. You put a picture of like Tom Hiddleston or something, they'll objectify him, and it's a bit like, so what you're telling me is it literally is because you're uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's so blatant that it's just because you don't like it.
Yeah,
it's not because
it's
sorry.
It's rated 15 and over in Japan.
I think that's more appropriate, honestly.
Yeah, well, that's because in the United States we don't have anything between teen and mature.
See, this is why I never understood why you didn't do like what in the UK where you have like 12s, 15s, and 18s.
Yeah, we don't. We have 13 and we have 17. So they made it M because it's a little bit too spicy for 13-year-olds.
You just have 18, and it's like once you're over 18, it's like you're an adult. Do whatever the fuck you want. Watch whatever you want.
I mean, you can buy M-rated games as soon as you turn 17 in the US. It's not a big deal. But we don't like. I wouldn't say you need to be an adult to play Persona 5. It's really not.
Yeah.
Like super mature.
I agree, but also like you're saying, there's nothing really in between. Like what you're saying, for teenagers, like differentiate. Like where with us, it's like you've got 12 and you've got 15, where it's a bit like there's a difference. Do you know what I mean?
There was a push a while back to add like a rating in between, like a T15 plus, but it didn't happen.
The thing is, it's like that makes it complicated, and you can understand why they didn't do it, because it's like, oh, T15 plus, you're like, why don't you just make it just something else? And I think that sometimes we do try to overdo simple ratings just to not do it. But that's a conversation for a different time. Let's talk about the disgusting thigh showing, because we're all from 1872, aren't we?
Yeah, I have a feeling that these in this case, I put her together with all the activists because she says the same ideologically possessed nonsense here. She has the same puritanical problems. The as I said, ankles. These people all have a massive problem with self-esteem and with their own sexuality. These people need therapists.
Yeah.
Good ones, which are rare. But they need therapy. Seriously.
Yeah.
Or father figures, or both. Good father figures.
Yeah, because it just feels like every time it's like attractive girl. Well, she's showing off her body. It's like,
oh no, she's prettier than me. I can't do that because I'm shy, so she shouldn't do it either. Because that makes me feel bad when she's pretty and I'm not.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
And then she gets the boys and I don't.
Yeah, it's like,
that's what's behind it.
Guys prefer ankles, not cankles. That's how I always remember it.
What's a cankle?
A cankle is I'll have to show you a picture of it. It's you know when someone's got really fat ankles? And it's like
elephantitis?
Yes.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much like that. So we call them cankles here, and it's like, get your cankles away.
Where's the K coming from?
Anyway.
I don't know. It's probably from our white supremacy. It's a fallout from the KKK in northern England.
Okay.
Well, in German, the K would obviously stand for shit, but I don't know what it stands for in English.
I don't know either.
All right. Anyway, back to the video.
Being so painfully forced into positions meant to be ogled just gives me the creeps. I don't like being told to stare at my friends' tits, and
we're not telling you to stare.
God.
Nobody's telling you that.
No one's telling you.
No one is forcing you to look.
You can look away from the screen. I have to look away from the screen when there's some strobe light bullshit going on.
And again, the complaint here exactly
actually harmful.
Yeah, exactly like I said it would be. The complaint here is I don't like that the game aimed at teenage boys does things to appeal to teenage boys.
Oh, you know what I really enjoyed about like the Wolverine movies, seeing Hugh Jackman half naked. Yeah, that's what I went to. Like, no, I looked away. Sorry, but you can't have. That's like the exact same argument. You can't just. It's there. Like, was it literally X-Men Origins? That scene where he's like pretty naked. That was done for the women in the audience. That was given some eye candy to look at. Everyone's got to admit that. I'm not complaining about it because I was forced to watch it. It's like I know why it's there. This, I know why it's there. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah,
it's like watching a documentary on trains and being pissed off as rail track.
Well, this scene specifically, I think this is the Hawaii vacation scene, anime cutscene.
It's either the Hawaii scene or the beach scene.
Yeah, and this is the one where it's actually she's accepting that she's attractive, and I believe it's not Yusuke. What's his name? Ryuji. He's doing the old man breast grabbing action like as a joke, and she starts laughing and puts her arm around him like it's a joke, and it's like,
because they're friends and they've been friends for years.
Yeah, it's just a silly funny thing because Ryuji's like, oh my god, Anne's hot, and Anne's like, yeah. And that's it. That's the whole scene.
I'm going to agree with like Axelot and Whisp. It just sounds like this is just a fat girl saying, "Oh, I don't like it that this 2D drawing of a woman is better looking than me. I don't want to look at it."
I don't even know if it's that. I think it's just parents... I don't like that there are things aimed at teenage boys.
Why is everything not specifically made just for me? Why can I not play every?
This says Funimation. This might actually be a clip from the anime.
Maybe, yeah, you might be right.
Yeah. And when I was a kid, my parents often dragged me to, mostly my mom, dragged me to beaches in Spain or Greece, and so much so that I got really horrible-looking liver spots because she wanted us to get a tan so bad that fucking hell, it was always just a burn, and so that people could see that we have been on a vacation. I just didn't bloody fucking care. I just wanted to read books. Point being, beaches are full of tourists, and there are a lot of 40-plus-year-old women. And I have no trouble sitting there in their bathing suits and bikinis and stuff, and it doesn't always look very, let's say,
good,
helpful for them, but they do, because they have confidence in themselves. This girl doesn't.
I'm going to be honest with you, it's like saying that, it reminds me of when I used to go on holiday. If you ever go on a holiday to Spain and you end up in like a British hotel, you will find that most women over the age of 35, when they tan, literally take their bikini tops off and are laying there topless. Just letting it all hang out. And you're just like, at least you're talking about that. It's like, you
don't know the glories of socialism. We had
the glories of socialism. What the fuck?
Yes, because East Germany had something called Freikörperkultur, which means free body culture. And
so nudists.
Yes, but it was statewide encouraged. So you had basically entire lakes and beaches where the entire family went and everybody was naked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether that was because socialism couldn't afford having bathing suits or there's something else behind it. I don't know. But yeah, all ages.
But my point is this.
I know what you speak of.
Yeah.
I have seen worse.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. It's like
Ugh.
a teenage girl in a bikini is not. If you ever go to a beach, is not the worst thing you're ever gonna see. Like,
yes,
it's one of those things. I'm a bit like, oh, that's really quite tame, actually. Considering
80-year-old grandpa with beer belly and his equally old
Speedos,
flabby wife.
Yeah, in Speedos with his ball sacks hanging out of one of the sides.
What Speedos? It's naked. There are no Speedos.
The skin-colored Speedos.
It's hanging. The balls are hanging down to the knees, just like the tits of his wife.
Yeah. So our point is teenage girl in bikini.
Yeah, that's less offensive, honestly.
It's like, that's actually the least. Yeah, it's the least
this is
offensive
scarring
thing
you.
I've
You have
seen.
issues.
Oh my
if
god!
A pretty girl on a beach in a bikini is emotionally scarring you. Bloody hell! Don't just go to a therapist. Go to a clinic right now. Tell them at the reception, I am afraid of good-looking teenage girls in bikinis at the beach on the summer holiday. Then they will take you right in.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, let's go.
I don't like how On seems to be constantly put into this position, especially since it goes against literally everything her character is fighting for. So
what is okay? Let's find out what she's fighting for, because there's lots of reasons why people join the Phantom Thieves. And the first chapter sort of illuminates why Anne is involved and why she wants to keep being there. So hopefully she'll explain that.
That castle where On joins our team. This is where we get the foundation for On's character growth. See, unlike Persona 4, where our teammates had to face their own shadows, in Persona 5, we have to face the shadows of evil people manipulating our friends in various ways. But, like I said, this video is about On, and On's struggle is oddly undermined throughout the events of the game. On's story is the struggle of being seen as a sexual object. Inside of Kamoshida's castle, there's
something you would like to be?
So she mentioned shadow selves from Persona 4. That's true. And also in Persona 5, in this case, On has her own version of that, who Kamoshida thinks is, this is what he wants.
Yeah. On's story is not about being seen as a sex object. On's story is about being sexually abused by a teacher.
And his behavior with other kids.
She's wrong off the rip here.
Yeah, he's not just abusing, or has, obviously he is attracted to On, but he's like this with everyone. Like, he is abusive towards the boys, to the girls as well. That's why one of the girls tries to commit suicide. So it's his behavior as a whole that Anne and others see as a problem. So she goes, I gotta fix this. I gotta help out my friends. I gotta help you. You're helping me out, and it just keeps going. There's more problems to solve. So she's just one of I think she's the first one aside from Morgana and Ryuji.
There's a cognitive version of On following him around. Kamoshida is the kids' PE teacher, and he's using his old Olympic achievements to manipulate the school. And one of the ways he's doing that is threatening On with her friend's safety by trying to force her to have sexual relations with him. The way we see his cognitive version of On in his castle just hammers home how gross his perception of On truly is. She's scantily clad, is always following
That's not gross.
Him around, and it doesn't take long for the Phantom Thieves to vow to put an end to this guy's actions.
I mean, it is gross. It's supposed to be gross. That's the point. The point is that he is a bad person.
Yeah, his behavior
is gross. Her looks are not gross, but the situation is.
Yes, obviously the way he's thinking.
What's gross is supposed to be that a 30-something-year-old man sees a 16-year-old like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
and is forcing her into this against her will. That is the issue here. The issue is not that An is being seen as sexual. The issue is that she's being coerced.
No one sees this as a positive. This is not being played out as a positive. This is quite clearly being played out as a negative.
Haven't we been over this with other videos from other people who have a problem with, who want, on the one side, rape, for example, what this leads to, and where this comes from, to be taken more seriously by society, but at the same time forbid us to portray the trials and tribulations, the struggles, the pains of people who go through these stories, forbid us from even seeing them, which is the very thing that makes us understand them better.
Well, to be honest, Wisp, these are also the same people who have no problems with blatant paedophilia when it comes to young boys, but a girl shows her ankles, it's get the police, call the police, and all that sort of stuff.
I know.
All right, I'm not gonna say that this girl is like that, as opposed to certain other video essays.
You mean morality?
No. Yeah, but, I know. It's the general realm
I think
of things.
Her issue here is not going to be that we see An going through this. It's that we see An going through this, and then she gets ogled later by the boys. Except the context is entirely different. It's only the same if you consider every instance of her being looked at sexually to be identical.
Yeah, but
you have to leave out all the context. You have to say, okay, well, the issue is that she's being looked at sexually, and not that she's being looked at sexually by a teacher who is forcing her into things, versus she's being looked at sexually by her friends.
Yeah, yes, and that seems to be the distinction the maker of this video, seems to lack, as well as many of the other girls of her opinion.
But this really
that seeing girl as sexual in any way is a negative right away. Which tells me that these girls have inherent disturbances towards their own sexuality.
Well, but the thing that I'm going to say is, it's a bit like, so what you're saying is a person who has been sexually abused in any way isn't allowed to be viewed as attractive afterwards.
Man, that sounds like what the conservatives say when they say if you've been raped, you're like a chewing gum that has already been used and then was put back.
Yeah,
nobody wants to touch that. It's the same thing, but said with the inverse of words.
Yeah, because this is all that I'm saying is like, oh, well, Anne's been ogled and abused by her teacher. Now that means that no other man is allowed to look at her in a sexual way ever again, because it's problematic. Whereas then it's like, well, what if someone 10 years down the line finds her attractive, wants to settle down with her, and you know what I mean? It's like, oh no, she's still being seen as a sexual object.
Right, but this is within the world.
I've not seen this exact part like that before, but you're right, and they keep doing this very thing that they have, in effect, as the outcome of their opinion, how it manifests in the behavior we should adopt, the exact same way that the let's say fundamentalist Christian conservatives decades ago wanted us to behave all the time. They just come to that very conclusion from the opposite side.
Well, the thing that really gets me is all these games have to do with the metaphorical or the metaphysical world, which is the extent of one's mind. So you should be getting ideas and imagery of things which are uncomfortable and creepy and weird, and that's where you get all the designs of all the personas and all the monsters that go, whoa, this is really scary part of Judeo-Christian mythology or Norse mythology or whatever. So there's all kinds of mythology in here. And if you can't show a girl in a bikini or a girl that has a story that happens to be dressed sexually, the problem is not with the writing and the setting and the magic and all the other elements. There's probably something with the audience who's saying this, because this has been all throughout the series, and her in a bikini is nothing new. So it's nothing. It's nothing over the top. There is a bit more suggestive tones in 5 because of the nature of the theme, and because of especially chapter 1 with Yamashita being so perverse. But other than that, no, it's pretty much the same as it always been. All right, here's X Badger Knight X. Thank you, sir. Another ignorant essayist that seeks to slander best girl. I don't know if Anne's best girl. In this video, going to talk about how Anne is not only a scathing critique of sexism, but also serves as a critique of Japanese xenophobia. Wow, I didn't go that far. But I would say we're getting to that point. She might even bring that up. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there is some xenophobia involved in On's story indirectly.
Right. That's at the start. Is that even throughout the rest of the story? I thought it was at the start.
She just mentions that she's been a loner because she looks so different from everyone.
Yeah.
She's the part white girl.
Yeah.
And she's blonde. And I don't think it ever comes up in here, but in Japan, there are a lot of schools where if you show up with blonde hair, you need to prove that it's your actual natural hair color.
Well, well, this is more of a platinum blonde, I assume. I don't know what they were doing with the haircut. They do a lot of grays, even with Yu in Persona 4, his hair color. So it's like, all right, she's blonde, he's blonde, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. It's anime, it's fine. Anyway.
An, along with friends, are able to stop him. He gets arrested, and An gets to move forward after this ordeal. She no longer will be seen as a sex object, some fantasy for men to ogle.
No, she will no longer be seen. She will no longer be sexually harassed. See, this is where the whole disconnect is she's gotten An's story wrong.
If a woman who will, especially a pretty girl, who will never be seen as sexual again, that sounds like hell.
Yeah.
That sounds abusive.
Yeah.
Like somebody telling you that you are ugly all the time. Nobody will ever marry you. And so on and so on and so on. That sounds really deranged. And I think this shows how or rather proves how her psyche works.
You can't say she will never be seen as, she'll never be seen as sexual ever again. It's a bit like, no, that's impossible. Someone will find you attractive. There is someone out there who will find you attractive.
Yeah, there are guys. There are good-looking guys who are into fat chicks.
Yeah,
and she's good. She would probably argue that there's a difference between someone seeing you as attractive and treating you as a sex object. But that's really only in theory. The way people like her act, there really is not a difference in practice.
That's what I mean. You can say whatever you want to say, but when it comes down to like hard facts, it's like when you find someone attractive, you do find them attractive for sexual reasons. Like, as in like, you go into a relationship with someone, you need to find them attractive for sexual reasons as one of the main reasons. There's other things that go into it, but this whole thing of the story's about her never being seen as sexual ever again. It's like, that's not going to happen. She's an attractive woman.
Mm-hmm.
Unless she has like plastic surgery to make herself look like, a fucking troll under a bridge, she's going to struggle to be not attractive to somebody somewhere.
Yeah, and most people are. Most people are, at least for a time of their life, attractive.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, this is an odd point to stop at. Let's keep going.
She's going to be proud of who she is, and not ever allow others to try to take advantage of her just because of her body ever again.
Okay, so no guy she'll never appeal to any guy.
She's never going to allow someone to attempt to rewind that. I want to hear that line again.
Gets to move forward after this ordeal. She no longer will be seen as a sex object, some fantasy for men to ogle. She's going to be proud of who she is.
She's a model.
Those are different things.
Fine.
Those things are...
Yeah, A does not connect to B.
Disconnected from each other. Those things are standalone issues. They're not mutually exclusive.
She decides to become a model. What do you think models do for the rest of their professional career?
Not eat anything.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You have no one has control over who sees you as a sex object. You don't know what's going inside of other people's heads.
Yeah. It's like, obviously before I got my girlfriend, you wish certain people see you as attractive. They never usually do. And it's like, I'm sure out there somebody who I've never even thought of, like, in that way has thought of me in that way. It's you don't know. Yeah. This is like getting into complete, like, you need complete control of other people's, like, thoughts and feelings.
Right, but the whole point of
you know what? In the very beginning, when you've never heard it in your entire life that someone does find you attractive, even fabs off to you or something. There is even in the gross stuff, there is an element of, well, I seem to appeal to someone. No matter how bad your self-esteem is, that is the key thing that tells you, well, yeah, that may be a creep, but it means I am not as unattractive or unlikable or disgusting as I thought I'd be, because there's someone who seems to like it, and from that you can build. At some point, it will gross you out when it gets too much, but it is irrelevant from whom. It is an icebreaker for self-esteem issues.
Right. She accepts the fact that she is attractive. She says, I can become a model, and I am going to be attractive to other people and be proud of it and be successful and confident. So she is accepting the fact she is a sexual object, and she's going to make a career out of that.
Yeah, that's a yeah. So
she's owning it.
Yeah, so obviously
exactly, yes.
This YouTuber would obviously be completely against OnlyFans then.
I mean, why would people hire models if they weren't attractive?
Political correctness. I mean, come on. Have you seen some of the models?
Yeah, have you seen Calvin Klein these days?
No.
Years ago they put James Corden up on the Calvin Klein advert, and it was like as a joke. Now he looks like fucking a prime model compared to some of them they have.
Oh, well, either way, this is in her linear story. She will always become a model. Doesn't matter if you grow up with her social links or not. It just happens naturally. So she accepts her sexuality, guys. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, this wasn't the point I was trying to parse through, though. It was a sentence after this that turned my brain into a mush.
Which one was that?
We'll get to that.
That's what I wanted to rewind for, but we didn't play it.
We'll get there soon. Don't worry.
Said it again.
Here's Al Malone. Thank you, sir. I just tuned into the stream, and judging from the title, I can already tell this person only beat Kamoshida Palace and stopped playing the game. Yeah.
I'm not convinced she played the game to begin with.
Oh.
Well, she claimed it was really hard because she didn't use the main healer and.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, I want to hear this weird pretzel sentence that she says after this.
And not ever allow others to try to take advantage of her just because of her body ever again. And then the game ruins this.
Not ever allow others to try to take advantage. You can't stop other people from trying to do things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you reread
try.
before
She didn't
you
say
record?
No, stop. She didn't say try. She didn't say try.
Oh, yeah.
She just said she's not going to let other people take advantage of her.
No, she said she's not going to allow anyone to try to take advantage. I mean...
Can you please rewind that? Because I didn't hear the try.
All right. Everyone shush.
See, for men to ogle, she's going to be proud of who she is, and not ever allow others to try to take advantage of her just because of her body ever again. And then...
So, yeah.
Okay, it was the other half sentence.
Yeah, so very specific. She was speaking matter-of-factly, but in fact, it was about people trying to take advantage. This could be as simple as a guy walking up to her on the street after seeing her for 2 seconds, or some photographer trying to get frisky with her or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's just bad figure of speech there that got in.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. And I think the problem is, again, she's misinterpreted On's main issue, which was not that she was being looked at sexually. I know that's a big thing with feminists where they hate the male gaze because they hate just about anything men do.
Until they turn 40.
That was not the issue. The issue was the sexual harassment. It was not the being looked at as a sex object.
Right. And, and in this scene, I believe this is from the show, not the anime. Or sorry, the game, not the anime. She's at the beach, at the Hawaiian beach with her friends. So she's choosing to dress this way for herself. And she's hanging with her friends. She's going to go to the pool, or sorry, the ocean. She's going to play around in the water with her friends. This is her choice. She is not some bimbo. She is not like, oh, I want no men to look at me like an object. No, she knows exactly what she's doing. And this is well after she's accepted her role in becoming a model.
Yeah, and I think the complaint is supposed to be here that it's the game that's putting her into these scenarios because somebody had to write it this way. But again, you have to work off of the basis that her entire character arc is based on not being looked at as a sex object, which it's not. The whole point of all the palaces is a lot of it is very personal. It's a personal issue between her and Kamoshida, and what he is doing. He is twisting something, and he is taking advantage of something and doing something really awful to her, and she is rebelling against him and his attempts to use her for sex, not to ogle her. That's not her problem.
Well, the
problem is not that he's looking at her.
The other thing I like about On, same with the other Persona games, is she embodies the tenet of the lovers. So she is sort of, I wouldn't say she's the given romance interest, but that's sort of her vibe. That's the thing she's going for. The same way Mitsuru was the Empress. She sort of commands that role, the Jungian concept, if you want. So her story is, I wouldn't say about love per se, although it has that in it, because she's constantly fighting between her love of food, like she loves eating, and you take her out to like restaurants, she just scarfs down food like crazy, and she's like, oh my god, I gotta go to a photo shoot in 2 weeks, what do I do? Like, it's this funny joke, so like you give her gifts of candy, she loves you more. So it's more of a child growing into a woman than it is this romantic notion of getting, because all the social links are fairly they're not completely benign. There's elements where you could sort of have a romantic slant on all of them. So I just don't see it as such a big deal, because this is a common thing with all the games. And there's these I think there's 10 ranks to all there could be more, I can't remember, of all the social links. And it's a progression. It's a little story, and then a little story, and then the next month goes by and you get a little story. And it's always a little bit of series of questions and interactions. Like, what do you think of this? What do you like about that? What's your opinion? Like, there's always asking the audience or the player what they think of a certain thing. And it's because she's the role of the lover. It has that sort of, you unlock the sexy technique ability, or you unlocked the romance option or whatever. And you could have the romance path, you could have the friendship path. So you expect a little bit of romance from a romanceable character. This is assumed in these sorts of games. So if you don't have sexuality, what the hell do you've got? Personality? She's nice to talk to? Yeah, she's nice to talk to. There's more to a person than personality and the things they like.
Yeah.
So why not use the full gamut of what Anne is, who she is as well, to build a character? that you might even have romantic options with. And that there's a funny thing about romance in Persona 5 that make it absolutely a wonderful Valentine's Day. So anyway, romance is inherently
sexuality is a part of any romantic relationship, so it still has to be there.
Yeah.
And I get, and on a meta level, like I said, this whole complaint is that the teenage boy game is appealing to teenage boys. An is the most attractive member of the cast. She's designed to be. It's the whole point. And so she gets moments where in story the boys are staring at her because she's pretty. Nothing ever comes of it. The boys don't force her to do anything except in the Yusuke chapter, which is what she's probably going to complain about.
Right, yeah.
And even that, she knows it has to get done. She's just not happy about it.
Yeah, and that's the good comparison.
She knows they need to get in, and she knows the guys are going to come in and make her and stop her from having to strip naked.
Right.
She knows it's not going to happen.
Right. So the whole scene is a good good contrast to this scene, because this scene is where she's matured and accepted her her body and yada yada. In that scene, she's partly acting and partly sort of overdoing the scaredness of, I have to take my clothes off, and she comes in with this gigantic silly amount of clothing she's wearing, so it takes a longer time for her to undress. So whether that's acting or not, it doesn't really matter. The fact that it's played for laughs is the point. So
she's stalling for time. That's the whole thing. She's distracting him while they find a way to get in, and she knows that she's not going to have to get naked.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the best. If she does show that clip, yeah, we're gonna see what she has to say.
That's probably going to be the main point of the video.
Okay.
The game ruins this. An's whole character is centered around this concept of fighting past being a sexual object.
No.
And
No,
yet,
it's
at
not.
the same time, apparently someone didn't get the memo. Look at that. She sure is hot in that bikini. Wowza,
Wow,
check
yeah,
out those
no
tits.
kidding.
Oh, baby, want to see some
You
legs?
didn't even see them
the
in that
cutscenes
scene.
throughout the game constantly put on in overly sexy positions and forces the camera
No.
up and down her body for
There
us
it
to
is.
drool over. And it's gross.
Girl.
No,
Not
it's
only
not.
is it gross,
Go, listen. Basically, every position an attractive girl, woman, doesn't matter, is in. Even if she's just standing, plain, straight up, arms by her side, nothing special. She looks sexy.
That's how An is introduced.
There is no unsexy position or posture a girl can have, aside from maybe actively walking like Quasimodo.
An is literally introduced as she's just standing there, taking shelter from the rain. That's her introduction, and you can already tell she's meant to be an extremely attractive character.
Yeah,
it's not sexual at all. She's standing there.
Yeah,
if you
have a problem with women looking sexy just by existing, complain to nature, complain to evolution. Because due to evolution, anything women do either looks somewhat sexy or cute. Or I need to protect.
Yeah.
Basically, it's one of these three. Or a mix thereof. And that's that. There's nothing else.
Her whole complaint is that the game puts her in these situations where she is she gets put into fan service scenes. This whole video it's bad that the game aimed at teenage boys does things for teenage boys. That's the whole thing.
I am not a teenage boy.
Entire video.
I am not the intended audience, and this is why this game is bad. And this is why this character is problematic, because it is not targeted towards me. It's like,
this is why gatekeeping is important.
Yeah, and the joke is she doesn't even appeal to all boys. At that age, I wouldn't take much notice of her because she's not my type.
Yeah.
I just see her for her story.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I just...
People have different types.
Yeah.
All right. 4 minutes in.
To treat any woman like this in general, but it's even grosser knowing what her character is actively going through in the game. We really get to see two versions of An. There's the An in the story, the girl trying to be seen as a strong woman, not a sexual fantasy, and then there's the An that the camera forces into a sexy position so we can stare at her body. And it's a gross dichotomy being presented.
You tell me this is a sexy position.
Oh yeah, I'm literally putting my hands down my pants right now.
She's embarrassed.
That is the cute must protect position.
Well, this is also anytime Morgana interacts with An, he's just gushing over her. So
all I know is this is disgusting. Why have we got pussy on the screen?
Yeah, well, and also, it's actually a guy, so
being sexually confident and being a strong woman is not mutually exclusive. Rather, they go together.
They go together for An. Her whole thing is that she wants to be a model. She wanted to be a model before this whole incident with Kamoshida.
And what the hell is a non-sexy model?
Well,
have you seen Calvin Klein lately?
Yeah, here we go again.
Yeah, I know. We've been round this blog. No, but like... Also, by the way, she said there's two versions of An, and then just described 3 versions, supposedly, so obviously she can't count. But I like how she said there's a strong version in like a skin-tight catsuit. It's like...
There's 2 versions of An. There's the version who wants to be strong and independent and seen as sexy, and the version who's seen as sexy.
Yeah. It's... we're gonna have the same arguments.
Because this video boils down to a fundamental difference in worldview.
I'm just curious, though.
Her worldview is filtered entirely through the lens of everything that appeals to boys is bad. Anytime a woman is portrayed as sexy, it's bad.
Well,
and our worldview is portrayed through more of a filter of you're an idiot.
I would question if An didn't want to be a model, she wanted to be something else. Would she still have the same argument? Because we could make the argument for many other women in the game who are sexually attractive, but they're not models, but they just sit a certain way or they have a certain attitude. They have a very attractive look, like the doctor Tay, I think. She just sits in a very provocative way, and when the GUI plays, you see her legs spin around. It's like that's what she's doing. She's like, I can't remember her name all half the time, but it's always the legs. It's because that's part of the GUI. It's part of the HUD. So you could say, well, that is sexualized. Of course it's sexualized, but that's just a woman sitting. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. So if An wasn't a model, or if the doctor was, she was an ex-model, clearly they're appealing to the male gaze. It's like, well, you're saying a doctor can't wear a skirt and cross her legs in a chair?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Chat seems to be of the opinion that there are strong morality vibes with this video.
Oh yeah.
Well, in a certain way, yes. In a certain way, as in,
it's not. Anne is not a male.
Is a lot more insane.
Anne is not a male.
I think they would agree on a lot of things.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I would imagine they have very similar worldviews. I would honestly not be surprised if they were subscribed to one another.
Yeah.
Although I checked out this girl's channel, it looks like she mostly subscribes, or it looks like she mostly makes videos about like Ruby.
Oh God.
Oh dear.
Which is a big old red flag.
Why would you waste your time with that?
Anyway.
I don't know. Ask the voice chat who play entire seasons of it on somebody's stream.
That's just Mike.
Well, that's just
It's
Mike.
not just Mike.
Really?
Yeah, but Mike's found other people who just haven't got the money to afford rope to kill themselves. So, they've got to do it some other way.
Okay.
So, might as well do it through Ruby.
Yeah, Black Romero in the chat put it well, I think. The thing this lady is missing is that her story wasn't about Anne being sexy or sexualized. It was about her being exploited. Anne took her sexiness in her own hands and out of her creepy teachers.
Wow, that's a good point. I wonder if any of us have made it before now.
Yeah, but just find it very concise.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we haven't said anything about, was it Motoko or Makoto? I can't remember.
I'm sure we won't.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if she goes to the other, because it's all about Anne. It's like, well, what about all the other attractive girls in the team or the story? There's all kinds. So, I mean,
is it because she's blonde and blue-eyed?
Because she's the one who was being sexually exploited.
Oh, really?
Nobody else was.
Oh.
Well, that's not true. Makoto might, there's an implication that might happen to her if she doesn't.
Well,
if
how
you
about
fail?
How about
chapter?
Kawakami's job? She plays as a sexy maid. That's sexualized.
I don't know if I don't know if we get any confirmation that she's an actual she's being forced to actually sleep with her clients, though.
No, but she's playing the role of this master slave.
That's true.
Thing. So it's like, all right, is that demeaning towards women because she actively pursues a job on the side to clean rooms and say cute things to the people who hire her? It's like, well, she wants to. How is that bad? Anyway.
Yeah, there's still 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I know. This is great.
I hope it's all Raid Shadow Legends ads.
Have you been sexually assaulted? If not, try Raid Shadow Legends. You'll feel like you have been.
Okay.
You know how I got over when I was sexually assaulted? Raid Shadow Legends.
Sorry. I just wanted this one to actually do that one day, 100% seriously. Oh dear, we should continue.
Oh, someone in the chat said she's critical of Ruby. I don't care. She still has to watch it and edit videos
about it, yeah.
I wonder if she has an anger towards Kasumi in Royal. She's a girl in a leotard dancing very, acrobatically.
Sorry.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know when this video is from.
Well, it's this year, so it already came out.
Is out. So.
Yeah. She wants to be a dancer. Is that too sexual for you? Dancing is lots of sexual moves to it. So, do you not find that attractive? I don't know.
Well, unless you just do Gangnam Style, there's nothing sexual about that. So.
All right. Let's go.
Here. The whole story gets so muddied throughout the game, and I don't understand how her character could have been so mismanaged. The message of her character arc is actively getting confused due to the game's own way of sexualizing On for us. The game is forcing us to ogle her the same way she's trying to get away from. There's aspects of
No.
No. That's still
no.
Still no.
On's development that actually does make sense. Case in point, her modeling career. For her confidant storyline, On reveals she wants to do modeling, and she struggles with being regarded as a real potential for modeling. And I actually love this. This actually highlights an important element of On's story, taking her sexuality and giving it back to herself. Rather than letting creeps stare at her and turn her into some sexual fantasy, she's actively taking her body and showing...
No. Yeah. If you go into modelling, creeps are still going to look at you.
Yeah.
They don't go, well, I can't look at her, she's a model now, I guess I'll have to creep on someone else. No, they're like, oh great, she does it legally now, I can just creep on her.
Yeah.
There's people who masturbate to the Victoria's Secrets catalogue. So
again, that's the whole... It's the same thing. I'm a broken record now. It's not that people are looking at her sexually. It's that she was being sexually abused.
Yeah, this is...
It was not about Kamoshida staring at her. It was about Kamoshida trying to pressure her into sex.
This is almost as if this YouTuber is saying that looking at a good-looking woman is equal to sexual abuse.
That is what she's trying to make the equivalence between. She's trying to equivocate between Ryuji staring at her boobs and Kamoshida trying to force her into sex by threatening to hurt her friends.
Yeah. It's literally almost like saying buying a girl some flowers the same as someone trying to force themselves upon them. It's like, no, it's two completely different things. And she's like, no. You're both trying to get something out of the girl. And it's like, yeah, but one of us is doing it the right way, or, just a normal, nice way, and the other person's doing a horrific, horrible crime.
Yes, Ryuji, the teenager, being a bit of a perv, is not on the same level as Kamoshida, the adult, trying to force the teenager into sex. It's not the same thing.
I wouldn't even call him a perv, because the teenage years, your hormones are raging. You have very little control over stuff, and being attractive, it's natural that he's going to look if he's a straight male, because that's what nature's. Nature designs people to be attractive so that other people want to mate with them. So a teenage boy is going to look at them. It's if a teenage boy looks at her and then goes, yes, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to tie her down and sexually assault her. That's when you can say, well, you're perverted and you're wrong. But that's not what's happening.
Yeah. The boys are looking at her while it's like... It's not... And Futaba's temple is not a pyramid in a desert as a setup to make An have to adjust her shirt because it's hot out. That is a side effect. The game was not written around An pulling on her shirt collar. And so they said, okay, Futaba's palace is going to be a pyramid in the desert.
Yeah. I honestly feel that this YouTuber doesn't comprehend guys looking at women because she's never had a guy look at her.
I don't think it's that she doesn't comprehend it. I think it's open contempt.
Yeah, I think that's closer to it.
It's how dare teenage boys be attracted to women.
And women want to be attractive.
How dare a video game made for teenage boys have attractive women in it.
And actual characters with a story to explain why they want to be attractive. It's kind of laid out for you that way. You could actually interact with the character, and they can explain things to you.
And how do you say, oh, it's all about her wanting to take back her sexuality, and then still miss the point?
Yeah. This is a good thing. No, it's bad. It's like, wait a second. It's either good and it can become bad, or it's good. Which one is it?
It's like, but even me, having very little knowledge of this entire series, just being told she takes her sexuality back, but now she's being objectified. I'm like, well, if she's okay with her sexuality and how she looks, why is it bad that...
Yeah, the scene later on with the bikini, is that a bad scene because we've established she's taking back her sexuality? How is it bad if she's accepting that part of herself, even without the social...
bad part is supposed to be the camera angles. It's a male gaze thing.
Oh my God. It shows her doing things.
She hasn't used the term male gaze, but that's what this complaint is.
Yeah, probably.
This is what it's...
The assumption that the game made for straight boys is being played mostly by straight boys. Which, like I said at the beginning, it's not for you, dear. It wasn't made with you in mind, Western woman.
I wonder what she thinks of Naoto in the romance.
It wasn't even made with me in mind.
Yeah, with Persona 4, with Naoto. I don't know if you guys remember Naoto. She's the boy detective, or she dresses up like a boy. And in the fourth game, if you get to know her better and you try to romance her, she says, well, I want to try and look like a girl. And she tries to dress up, and she wears a dress and school outfit, and she's super embarrassed. And they barely show anything. It's only one little scene in your room. But it's the most adorable way of showing how she's opening up as a girl, because she's so closeted, she's so guarded of wanting to be as that perfect detective she always wants to be. Not a male detective, that's just the persona she's using, but the idea of being taken seriously as a detective. So that I thought was super adorable. That the fact that she made all these little toys with like gadgets that she did as a kid, and they detect your presence the closer you come to it. So she makes you a little toy watch, and she has a matching pair, and the closer you get, the beeping noises. It just a very unique narrative way of presenting this girl trying to appeal to the main character. That to me was awesome. That's fantastic. Like if you talk about amazing character, whatever development, that little scene, which is completely optional, was done very well. Anyway, not important. Let's keep going.
Showing it off on her own volition. A lot of people will try to shame pretty girls after being creeped on by perverts like Kamoshida.
Like what you're doing right
wearing
now.
That outfit. If you didn't want
you are
to
you are the perpetrator of what you complain
so
about.
this you shouldn't have been wearing that outfit if you didn't want him to look at you. Is that?
Ooh.
I always hear that said as like something people tell women after something happens to them.
Yeah, it's almost like.
Does anyone actually say it?
The only people I've ever heard start saying that are feminists who want to have a go at good-looking women. That's literally the only time I've ever heard people say, "Well, if you didn't want that happening, you shouldn't dress like that."
Oh, here's a good point by BadgerNet again. Op needs to stop using clips from the anime adaptation as B-roll to prove points. It's 400% more fan servicey than the game and makes Anne look worse. Anime is supposed to be fan servicey in general, so why would you not have?
I've never seen the anime, so I don't know how it stacks up.
It's not that good. I like the opening and closing credits, but other than that, the show is pretty much just follows the game, just less animation and a few exaggerated scenes that are okay. But Persona 4 is where the comedy is at, really. It's all about Persona 4, guys. Persona 5 is great, but Persona 4 is fun. Anyway, the anime adaptation's not that good.
Okay. Take your word for it.
Well, you should still, if you enjoy Persona, I'm sure you'll get off on it, but it's not as good as the fourth one.
You sure I'll what?
You'll get off on it.
You'll get off on it. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
That is not what that means.
Well,
at least not stateside.
Okay.
Well, we're not stateside, so we're. It means different things everywhere.
Okay, anyway. Let's go.
Been showing off your body like that, but that is incredibly disgusting. Those kinds of mentalities.
Which is a good thing nobody says it.
Oh my god!
Puritan Christian.
This is retarded.
Can you just rewind that because was she just like saying like you shouldn't actually dress like this?
Yeah, a bikini is bad.
Wow.
She's saying
you shouldn't have been wearing that outfit. If you didn't want people to look at you, then you shouldn't have been showing off your body like that. But
well, yeah, no kidding.
No,
if you're dressed sexy, it's because you want people to look at you. I don't care how many women say, "Oh, I'm dressed this way for me. I'm not dressed this way for men." Yes, you are.
Yeah, and
if you dress
just unaware.
If you wear something slinky, it's because you want people to look at you.
Yeah.
If you dress, you can say it's because you want to feel pretty all you want. You derive feeling pretty from the number of stares you get.
Well, that scene again where she's laughing, wearing the bikini, that's the scene where Ryuji is doing the old man groping action, and she's laughing at it. She's going, ha ha ha, you're a kidder. It's not a big, to her it's not a big deal, but to her, the audience, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah. And you know, again, we're still running into the same thing. The problem is not that people were looking at her. The problem is not that Kamoshida looking at her. That was not what made him so terrible.
Mm-hmm.
If all he did was look at her, he'd just be a bit of a weirdo. But that's not what was going on.
Yeah, that's the
problem
only...
is not people looking at On. It is what he did.
That is the only argument I can see she's using is Kamoshida. Without him in the game...
Well, yeah, it's all based on the idea that the big bad thing that Kamoshida did was look at her wrong. And so everything is derived from how people look at her because it was so bad the way Kamoshida looked at her. Except the problem is not what he did. Or what the problem is not that he was looking at her. The problem is, again, I've said this, he was pressuring her into sex. That's the problem. And so when you make that fundamental a mistake at the outset of your video, then everything is going to be wrong derived from that.
Yeah, it's like the entire premise of this video is wrong. It's like she starts off, because she hasn't understood anything, she's just wrong on everything. Because, well, Axel said that before, it's like we're repeating ourselves over and over. It's like, it's not people looking at it, it's people being bad.
We need more examples of her argument because this is just repeating herself as well.
Yeah.
But that is incredibly disgusting. Those kinds of mentalities are victim shaming. They blame On for being pretty, rather than blame Kamoshida for trying to take advantage of her. It's his fault he's a perverted shit stain. It's not On's fault for having a curvy body.
The game doesn't act like it isn't.
It can actually be really hard for women with sexy bodies to feel comfortable enough to embrace their sexuality, especially after being objectified like how On has, rather than give into this concept of being ashamed of her body, even though it's apparent.
Dude, how? Explain to me how you understand a woman with a sexy body being confident about her being sexy works without her dressing in a way that makes her look sexy.
Did she just also say that Anne should be ashamed of her body?
No, she said that lots of pretty girls are ashamed of their bodies because of people staring at them.
Never not.
This is.
No, that's she's projecting her own experiences because she thinks people look at her because she's not sexy. So she feels ashamed because she thinks people look at her because of whatever deformity she thinks she has.
Yeah, you're gonna have to say that. We're gonna have to say this 100 times. She is equivocating between stares and attempted rape.
Yeah. How could... This is just...
I don't get this idea of feeling ashamed because people look at you because you look good. What the fuck? How broken in the head do you have to be to come up with that?
You know when...
I rather think that nobody ever looked at this girl. Nobody ever wolf whistled. Nobody ever asked her number. Because I cannot believe that. I definitely don't sound like it, but I'm not the perfect looker. Yet I got looked at. I got asked out. I got asked my number. I got all this stuff. I got treated nice, especially when I took effort into passing. And it's just there. You don't need to be the over super mega sexy girl.
Yeah.
People will ask you out. Just have some more confidence. And I didn't think people... I was... No, when I noticed people were actively... Because that they were looking at me not out of disgust. That only 40-year-old women do that. Seriously, it's 40 to 50-year-old women. They look at me. They stare at me in disgust all the time. Everyone else, totally fine. Some people are a bit confused. Because, well, it will never be perfect. But most people are just nice. And when people look at me, most of them, it's a positive look.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually increased my self-esteem. It made me feel less ashamed of myself. Because that's what I was before the dysphoria. Technically, I had no reason to feel ashamed. It was just a dysphoria that made me.
Yeah.
Because that's the discrepancy between brain and body. I was actually a good-looking guy. However, with when your brain judges yourself by the standards of the other sex, you're not going to come out well. But that went away. Whatever her mental problem is, that she thinks of herself as bad looking, I don't know. But it's not a healthy way to look at yourself, and she's projecting this on other girls.
Yeah,
because I'm just ignorant to it, but I've not heard sexy girls complain that people are looking at them. The only ones who've been doing that were feminists who jumped onto the "I'm a victim, people wolf whistle at me," and once they turned 40, oh no, I just realized I missed a wolf whistling at me, which means they didn't actually dislike it.
And the major hiccup is you feeling uncomfortable with people staring at you is not those people's problem.
Mm-hmm.
And, how do you even know they're staring at you to begin with?
Yeah. Yeah.
You must be looking at them.
Anyway.
She's a beautiful woman. She's harnessing the courage to commit to her modeling career and embracing her beauty for herself. Being sexy isn't the issue I have with On. Look at her Phantom Thief costume. The idea of their outfits as Phantom Thieves is one of my favorite elements of the game. The thieves' disguises are actually a reflection on how the world sees them, mixed with their own concepts of what rebellion is. Ryuji gets stereotyped as some punk thug, so his skull look reflects that concept. Makoto is called a militant hardass, and her queen attire plays into this notion. It's more apparent with some characters over others, but On's design is probably the most apparent example of this concept. On is considered a sex icon, so her leather, BDSM revealing catsuit plays into these concepts. Even her weapon, a whip, hints to this sexualized mentality. The idea of these costumes is really fun. It's not to try to perpetuate these stereotypes onto our heroes, rather, they're wearing these as symbols for how society judges others for shallow reasons. On might be sexy, and others might think of her as only a sexual fantasy. And On has to acknowledge the fact that this is a perception others have for her. Panthers' sex.
So wait a second, we're saying the magical ability for her to derive metaverse clothing is based off others people's perceptions? It's not her own? Isn't the whole idea of persona an expression of yourself in your persona?
Yes.
Why would other people's perceptions, how would other people's perceptions manifest clothing in the metaverse onto you? This is really a stretch, because you're like,
yeah,
okay.
I'm having a lot of trouble with this one. Like, you are reaching for the stars right now.
Yeah, even Joker, his persona, which is a very throughout the Persona series, even 1 and 2, Joker was the name of the villain throughout the games. So for him to take the name Joker, I'm like, whoa, really? That's cool. And then it finds, he's just a Arsène Lupin kind of character. You're like, all right, fine, cool. So he is this flamboyant fellow who can solve whatever capers and get through security and pick locks and be charming. The charming, dashing gentleman, noble thief. That's the idea. Whether the makeup and the looks of all these other characters are third-person perspectives, other people are looking at them, I really, there's nothing in the game that I can see. Like Yusuke, what the hell is Yusuke? A fox spirit? Do other people see Yusuke as a fox spirit? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird. It's weird stuff.
I don't know what she's pulling that out of.
Yeah.
The catsuit a spit in the face of those who think this is all there is to On. Unfortunately, it feels like someone in charge of the game didn't understand this aspect of her design. Her confidant Arcana seems to have confused concepts when it comes to representing On's character arc. On's persona is the Lover's card, and by all means, I don't know why. The Lover's card represents love, harmony, relationships, and choices. What about On's story implies any of these concepts?
By all means, I don't know why.
Right, shall we go through them?
That's a very awkward sentence.
Wow.
How does her story reflect that? I don't know, maybe because it's based around her inability to form meaningful relationships because she was treated as an outcast for being foreign.
Mm-hmm.
And how it's built around her relationship with Shiho.
Mm-hmm.
And how it's about her making a choice as to what to do with her life.
Mm.
Yeah, and she has the persona of Carmen originally, and that's the story.
And if someone on the writing team doesn't understand what you think is the concept of the character, consider the possibility that it's not the writer who has the issue.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say that. It's like, God, the writer had no idea what this character was. Like,
Yeah.
You're very sure of yourself, aren't you, there?
How...
I could argue...
How self-assured do you have to be to say you understand the character better than the writer does?
Yeah, when we talk about Carmen, have you guys ever heard of the Carmen play? Sorry, the Carmen musical. Think of her as a femme fatale back in the day, 1840s or whatever it was.
The original femme fatale.
Yeah, pretty much. So she's got that sense of revenge and deadliness to her, and it's a very empowering persona to have as an idea. So all the personas are like this. Like, you don't just have a generic persona of like Kermit the Frog or something. It's it's something like Odin.
That would be a funny persona, though.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, like Big Bird or something. Like, what the fuck? So you need to have this.
Oh, now
tragic...
you got me thinking about it.
Oh, Bert and Ernie. I summon you, Bert.
Are you trying to say that this YouTuber's persona would be a Muppet?
Well, what I'm trying to say is her understanding of the Tarot Arcana. You could bend and flex a bit. It's like, all right, maybe she's not the best example of the Lover's Arcana, but it's the same with all the Lover's Arcana. What was in Persona 3? It was the girl with the bow. Yukari, yeah. I would really see her as the Lover's Arcana, but there's really no other you could really give it to. And she's kind of concerned with relationships and being a girl and that sort of thing. It makes some sense, but it's not indicative of her personality. That's why they have the persona. That's why they have...
Yeah, but another thing as well is love doesn't have to mean sex, though, as well.
Right.
Which I think what this person's... what's the word?
Hang up.
With love. Yeah, it's like love. Well, it's just about sex and everything. Well, it could be finding love after having sexual abuse and everything,
Right. Yeah, there's all kinds of great stories with Greek and Roman gods and Aphrodite and all the escapades they went into. So there's all kinds of reasons why certain characters in the story represent certain tarot cards, and they're not one-to-one. They're not perfect lineups. It doesn't have to. It's a freaking tarot card. It's not supposed to be exact.
I mean, if you ever had tarot cards done, they're very vague.
Right.
I mean a lot.
So, but this is the thing with Persona. It's all a metaphor. It's blatantly metaphoric. When you have a menagerie of mythos that you're fighting or you represent or you're transforming into or you're pulling your mask off. Like, this is the whole idea with Persona 5. Everyone has a mask and you pull it off to reveal your true self, and that's what you fight. Same with Persona 4. You fight your shadow self. Oh, wow, what concept that came from. It's very metaphorical. So if it's not exact, honey, just relax. It's a metaphor. It's not supposed to be.
Yeah. These metaphors aren't exactly the same as what they're meant to be showing.
Yeah, the fact you could have a romance with On is pretty obvious. The fact that people find her attractive, they might love her. They might find her desirable for some reason.
No, Smudge, you can only have relationships with people you find disgusting and horrible. Oh my god, I am so repulsed by you. Please marry me.
Yeah, like with Madoko, she could be the priestess, she could be the Hierophant, she could be the queen, she could be the empress. She could match all those tarot cards. She could be the tower. She could be death. She could be all like you could put a lot of these into people and they'd match up rather well.
Yeah, it's almost like people's personalities are wide and varied. It's crazy. It's almost like they're not just two-dimensional characters. They're fleshed out.
Yeah, like they're called categories for a reason. There's a bit of overlap.
Oh my god, I would never have guessed.
Yeah. Anyway, she's bad at being the lover's arcana. Sure, let's go with that.
Okay.
I could see where you would make an argument for some of them, but it's a stretch at best, at least in my opinion. On's life isn't exactly harmonious.
Her life isn't exactly harmonious. What about after dealing with the problem? Is it harmonious after dealing with the problem? Because she seems to have a modelling career and she seems to have friends around her. That's pretty harmonious. Hooray. What the fuck? Oh, she went through a bit of a rough patch, so her life's not harmonious.
Yeah, no kidding. It's about achieving harmony, you dolt.
Yeah.
Her whole confidant is about becoming at peace with herself. And people and the way she's been treated and what happened with Kamoshida. It's her entire character arc, you moron.
This is ridiculous. This is just like, well, she wasn't harmonious from the start. It's like, yes. So she can't have harmony? No. She can have harmony. She has to get there, though. No. Then why is she the harmony with the harmony card? Because she does get it in the end. No. That's not how this works. No, it is.
Isn't there a whole concept in tarot where like the cards can be reversed as well, where it represents other like dissonant things?
Yeah, it just depends on what you ask the person. I'll be honest with you. I'll have to ask my mum again. She does tarot cards.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to ask how it's properly done.
Yeah, there's. I mean, with Persona 4, Rise was the lover's arcana, which doesn't really make too much sense, but. She is an idol. People love her as an idol. She's constantly gushing over the main character. It's just hilarious sometimes. Like it's a joke. Like she could also be Fortune. She could be the Empress. Mm-hmm. She could be the Priestess. She could be Strength. She could be Death. She could be all of these things. So whatever the story develops her in that plot scene, you can go with that. So it's not a impossible thing to connect the dots. Anyway.
She's aiming for a fanciful life as a famous model, and with her constantly moving across the world to follow her parents' fashion careers, harmonious is far from how I would describe On's life.
No kidding!
You mean she has to struggle to be a model? Wow.
But how is that not harmonious?
Things are not handed to her?
You mean
disharmony in her life? It's like, my god! Do you understand what conflict is?
Aphrodite had everything handed to her on a silver platter.
Jesus.
Yeah, and look what a shitty person she turned out to be.
I think I've played more Persona 5 than this person has, to be honest with you.
See, in this scene, the freeze frame, Anne's breasts are bouncing up and down. That's clearly a horrible victimization of the female form in context of Japanese salarymen.
No, her breasts are in disharmony in this scene.
Yes.
So obviously,
Because they look bigger than in other scenes?
Those C cups are so damaging to her tarot card reading.
with breasts like that, she can't have harmony nor love.
Yeah. Who would ever love a woman like that?
Yeah, who would ever want a relationship and love with breasts like those?
Oh dear.
On does grow a strong relationship with Joker, and her relationship with Shiro compels her to move forward.
Shiro?
But love? Choices?
Shiro is a
it
man's
feels
name.
obtuse.
Hold on. What was that? Love and choices. She chooses to go into modelling.
It's
I just
Shiro.
want to point out that her major complaint is what's happening to An and the the dissonance in the narrative between the way the game shows off her body and her choice to accept and take control of her sexuality. And now she's complaining that the need for choices doesn't pop up in An's story.
Yeah, this is. She's either got choices or she hasn't got. She can't have both at the exact same time.
If you didn't catch what Serac Slot was saying about Shiro, the girl that On's she's friends with is called Shiho. Shiro is a boy's name, in fact.
Shiro is a man's name.
Yeah, but Shiho, really?
Shiho, yeah.
She. Oh my god.
Yes, Shiho.
Yeah, Shiho.
But this
Shiho
goes to show
is
you.
a woman's name.
This
I
goes to
know
show
what
you.
you're going for, but it is a woman's name.
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
Japan.
It goes to show
it's
you
just
how much
very weird.
attention she paid to the actual narrative in Anne's
Yeah,
story.
She
Well,
can't even get the name of the character right.
She's
Yeah, I
paid
can
so much-
kind of see how relationships would apply to her character, since her confidant link revolves around a relationship with someone.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like she's paying so little attention to even her own script that she's literally said Anne's choices, and then has gone, but Anne has no choices, and you're like, what? Like, your argument doesn't even stand up in your own video anymore. Also, how is this problematic?
Yeah.
How is any of this problematic?
Good
What
help you there.
actually? Okay, a woman makes choices and she's going to become a model. That's problematic because what?
Who knows? Anyway. She wants a career. She wants a life. Oh, it's gonna be too.
Oh, how dare she fight back against her sexual abuser? Why don't she just lie down and let him do whatever he wanted to her? That's what true feminists do.
Anyway.
That's just what they fantasize about.
Okay, can we get over this? I need dinner.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
At best, it only distantly feels related to On's development. If anything, the reversed Lover's card makes a little more sense with the concept of self.
Wow, no kidding!
Wow, self-love. What about love?
Disharmony?
Imbalance.
Disarmory? No,
Oh,
harmony.
God. Do you know there's something
Disharmony
called
and imbalance.
there's something called
What you misalignment of
okay.
values is okay, but imbalance, what the
Misalignment is a word.
spell check is a thing, you know?
And now she said, I don't feel the lovers applies to on. If anything, the lovers on. Like, the reverse of the card is still concept.
You're cutting out a bit.
Well, so the idea of having a tarot card in reverse is so impossible to grasp. It's like, what? It's the opposite of the card? So all the values line up?
I love how it's like love, the opposite, self-love. No,
No.
that's not the opposite of love.
Well, in tarot, the reverse of the card is not necessarily the exact opposite of the...
Self-love is still love. It's not really in any way a reverse, even an opposite or even a difference. It's still love.
Well, I guess it depends on what you mean by self-love.
Well,
like, self-love as in actually caring about yourself enough to take care of yourself, or self-love as in self-absorption.
But that all that can come under selfishness still. But it's just self-love is not the word that she was looking for. But then again, considering the fact that she's got disarm,
imbalance. Every single one of these is retarded.
This was not something like I'm not one to go after spelling mistakes if it's like in a live chat or a text message or something. This is a video you had to edit. Come on.
I feel like sorry, I just keep thinking of ambulance.
She's in a
she's a vehicle that takes patients to hospitals. That's what the tarot card is about.
Believe it or not, the cat turns into a van. Maybe the cat will turn into an ambulance.
Really?
And a helicopter, yeah.
Oh, but disharmony. Oh, why would you?
Anyway, let's just keep going. This is so silly.
Yeah, let's just get
On learns to be proud of herself and feel comfortable in her own body. By all means, it just feels like the game is telling me to be attracted to On. Look.
Wow.
No.
Not what by all means means.
They want you to be attracted to characters. What story would ever do that?
Oh my god.
I don't even... And the game is not telling you to be attracted to On. The game is telling you that in story, On is attractive.
It's almost like it's almost like in this choice game, you have a choice of who you can do a relationship with.
Yeah, here we have...
It's almost like she makes everything about herself.
Here's an attractive...
In a game... Talking about a game for teenage boys.
Yeah, I mean...
In a game that is about the other characters in the game and not her.
Well, it's not just On. It's any character is shown in a funny, lighthearted, attractive way. It's like, do you want them to be unattractive? Do you want them to be boring and dull and colorless and have no backstory and no motivation? Like, what do you want?
I really want all my game characters to look like the Garbage Pail Kids. That's really what I want. You know, ugly fuckers.
It's like every good story has attractive characters. Not necessarily visually attractive, but in general, they're attractive.
Yeah.
The game wants you to fall in love with her. No shit. It's an attractive female character. The game wants you to fall in love with Yusuke. No shit. He's an eclectic, artsy-fartsy dude. Like, what's wrong with that?
Well, look at it. Like, I'm going to bring up BioWare because it's like, obviously you get choose of romances. People don't go for the ugly romances, especially in the newer games.
Well, even
look
at when BioWare first did like Mass Effect. I always go to that example. If you look at Ashley's face, she has a gorgeous looking face. Not necessarily the rest of her, but her face specifically. It's very well proportioned, very well chiseled. Compared to Liara, which is like this makeup put on, like her eyebrows are makeup, and she's an alien. Yeah. So it's all right, fine, whatever.
She's like a full-ass squid monster.
Yeah, people like that. I know. So every character was made to, like, even Caden is hot. Like, his features are just chiseled. So they're made to be attractive. That's the point. The rest of it is all the social elements and the cultural elements of scenarios.
I mean, it's like, come on, let's put it this way. It's like, I go with, obviously, the Dragon Age thing. It's like, come on, the male options, they've all got six-packs and they've got chiseled jawlines. The female options are really, like, one's a proper femme fatale and the other one's,
Yeah, I mean, seriously, why are all the straight women in in Inquisition so ugly.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. And then like also like Andromeda, you've got lesbian haircut and
Yes,
Vectra.
you've got that haircut woman, and you've got
and Sarah.
Oh,
I don't even remember who Sarah is.
You don't want to.
Is that's Inquisition? That's the elf from Inquisition.
She's the lesbian. Yeah, it's just like oh,
Sarah in Inquisition.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about Andromeda.
Well, in Andromeda, the only other straight one is for males is Vetra Viturian.
Oh,
and
yeah,
and quirky borderline Splatoon squid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, PB.
Oh Jesus fucking well! You know what? I completely forgot that character existed.
Just like Sarah.
You know what I think? This Andromeda project was to get rid of the worst our galaxy had to offer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just send them to the other galaxy. They probably won't make it.
Secretly, the Andromeda project was the Mass Effect Universe's version of Australia.
No, what I'd laugh is if if the Reapers has actually done it, like we're not harvesting them, they can go. We're not adding them.
The Reapers show up in the Andromeda galaxy. They're like, okay, we're done here.
Give them another 50,000 years. I don't want to touch these guys.
No. Sorry to disturb you guys. We'll just go back.
Wait till they perfect.
I still remember how you build a city in the middle of a box canyon in that game. What a great place for a settlement. The bottom of a canyon. Very defensible.
Oh.
A canyon in a desert, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a canyon in a desert.
It's got good shade.
Anyway,
but like we say, those characters.
That's why Rome is famously the city at the bottom of 7 hills, right?
Yeah. No, Rome doesn't exist.
Oh, right.
As TikTok has told us,
Rome was never built.
Yeah. Rome wasn't built in a day.
All right.
But to go back to the point, yeah, these characters look attractive to attract people to them. It's like unbelievably to start a relationship, you have to be attracted to somebody.
Listen, I can understand why someone who only plays Western games would find the idea of attractive characters foreign, but
when the most attractive character in the game is the Krogan, we got problems.
I remember the character.
Whose idea was it to send a Krogan on the Andromeda project?
Someone got high. All right, they went. We need some aliens. Krogan maybe.
Yeah, we definitely need millions of Krogan eggs in the other galaxy.
Yeah, like I can understand the Quarians. You probably want to send the entire flotilla on the Andromeda project.
Yeah. But why
I can understand the Turians wanting to send people. I can definitely understand the humans wanting to send people. Yeah. I can understand the Asari wanting to send people. I can understand I can even understand the Krogan wanting to send people on the Andromeda project. I cannot for the life of me understand the Andromeda project accepting the Krogan.
Yeah.
It's not in universe. I know why it happens out of universe. Out of universe, it happens because people like the Krogan.
Yeah.
Well, I will say
because they needed Rex.
Yeah, but it's like saying like the Andromeda program, like, well, we can't take the Geth with us, so we'll have to take the Krogan as the next best. You know,
it's the equivalent of say going to Australia and bringing a handful of rabbits with you.
Yeah.
I wonder what that might do.
It might inspire a really boring movie.
Yeah,
I'm trying to look at.
It might inspire a longer fencing program.
I'm trying to look at the.
Just bring more toads.
The characters in Persona 5, which may not be visually attractive, but there's something about them visually that's striking. So it's like, oh, I can identify them by a quick glance. Whereas one of the
Kabayakawa.
Like an Austrian painter?
Well, not necessarily. I was thinking more in terms of like they made one of the characters. What's her name? The shogi player.
Hifumi,
yeah, like she's really attractive. And they were about to make her a main character, but the story didn't allow that. So they said, well, we did all this work. Let's just throw her in her anyway. And there is enough to go on aside from just her looks. That there's a story there that you see. Oh, I see what she's going through, and her life, and her mom, and this and that. So there's enough.
Yeah, and somehow they made the fifth wheel party member the best girl in the game. Who would have thought?
There's a lot of best girl.
Suck it guy in chat who said it was Kawakami.
Yeah. Well, people like certain girls over others, but there's always something about each of them outside of their looks, at least in persona, that makes them attractive. So, but they also put in that element of visual appeal, even if it's not sexual appeal. It's like, oh, they got the style, they got some sort of thing about them, the way they walk, their hair is poofed up a certain way. They have a certain look about them that goes, what is it's not the sexual attraction again, it's just something visually, a hat, a hairpiece, a dress, something that is what stylized and brings out Persona as an attractive game to play. The same way when Final Fantasy VII came out, everyone had to play it because, oh my god, the graphics are amazing. It's the same idea, only the visualizations are different. They're stylized up the wazoo. Everything looks good. Even the ugly characters.
Yeah.
Like Kamoshida. He looks good.
It's like, I'm not saying there can't be ugly characters. I'm just saying don't expect people to find the ugly characters attractive.
Right. And that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. And even if you do it, that's fine too. It's not a big deal. So why she's complaining about, oh, they make her look attractive. It's like they make everyone look attractive for one reason or another. Anyway.
Oh my god, she's so attractive. It's like, okay, right, we get it. You're probably not attractive. That's fine, whatever. But just leave us alone.
Yeah, everybody's coming.
It's the male. It is the male gaze argument.
Assumptions.
It's like, oh, a hot woman, therefore bad. It's like, no.
Oh no, Whisp. It's not like we're coming round. It's like we knew that's probably what she was going for. It's just the fact that as it's gone along, it's just literally turned into 15 minutes of this.
Things I never hear attractive women complaining about this. Oh, women before menopause that are attractive.
Yeah,
I think that's also a turning point.
No, even some women after. It feels like women who have never felt like they've been looked at as attractive complain. That is how it always feels.
Or never noticed that they were seen as attractive by someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the thing is with when you have low self-esteem, maybe even some self-disgust, because that's the opposite of love. It's not hate, it's disgust. Then somebody looking at you could lead to a reflexive thought of, he's looking at me. It must be because I'm disgusting.
Yeah.
Instead of that person's looking at me, I don't know why, or that person's looking at me. Because you're actually not looking like shit. Or not shit to that person. Maybe you should talk to that person.
All right.
Yeah.
It's an option.
Let's keep going.
Look, she's so hot. Just look at her. Her card is lovers, so just love her. That's how you're supposed to feel. It feels like it's boiling her down to the love interest trope. And it sucks because On shows us in-game that she has a lot more than that. But the game itself seems to be fighting her back down. By all means, I think strength would have been a better fit for On. Courage, influence, compassion, those qualities.
What do you mean influence? She has no choices. She doesn't do anything at all. What do you mean? Strength? Why has she got strength? You should be ashamed of her body. Courage? No, she'd be frightened.
You argued against all these points.
Yeah. I think she's more... I think you're definitely right. She is more like imbalance. Imbalance is definitely what she is. Whatever that means. This person doesn't know what they're on about. I honestly, God, don't think this I honestly believe, like, as Axelot said, this person has literally gone, good-looking woman I don't like, and has tried to create a narrative, and it's just not working.
So the actual strength arcana in Persona 5 is the two twins, or the two Caroline and Justine. They're like since 3, every Persona game has had the Velvet Room attendants, and that's just happens to be this one. And they're always like, they always serve the protagonist for whatever needs they require when they're in the metaverse, or at least the Velvet Room. So they test them to make sure if they're strong enough. They fuse personas for them. I don't know too much about them aside from their backstory, which is a bit of a plot reveal. So there's nothing wrong with, like, they could have been anything. They could have been the Star Arcana. They could have been Aeon. They could have been Tower. They could have been all kinds. So
they're the strength because ranking up their confidant involves you fusing better and better personas.
Right, and the all of the attendants, I believe, they rulers of power, I think they call themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They just control everything, so they're just power. I don't know if the previous confidants or the previous attendants were also strength. I don't remember.
In Persona 3, the attendant wasn't a Link. In Persona 4, she was the Empress.
Empress, you're right. Yes. So it's more of a thing that the creators are like, okay, this feels right. Not there's like it has to be 100%. No, it's just whatever sounds good to the character. They'll throw a little tarot card on. This is the same with when you write a story and you use a Jungian archetype. Like the magician. He's not literally a magician. He's just the guy who reveals the plot near the end, or the guy who changes your perception. That's it. It doesn't need to have every line item of definition from a Jungian concept. It's not.
Also, I just want to say she's now misused the phrase "by all means" times. It's really grating on me.
I'm just surprised she spelled all these words right.
Yeah. Influnk, Composition, Cougars.
Anyway.
All right, can we let's get to the Raid Shadow Legends ad. I want dinner.
Qualities just on much more, embracing her healing process. And the reverse strength card fits her debacle fighting Kamoshida a lot better too. Self-doubt, raw emotions. What? Those ideas dragged on down and played into Kamoshida's twisted cognitive version of her. You know what? Who does have the strength arcana in Persona 5?
Arcana?
Oh. Well, I was gonna suggest just swapping the cards, but like, that doesn't sit well with me. Like, to be fair, the Lover's card is often associated with Gemini and is also called the Twins card in certain circles.
I don't care.
But there's still just a lot to try to unpack with this context, and I'm just gonna end this idea here. Persona feels confused when it comes to displaying a character. Carmen represents the idea of a woman scorned, alluding to Ann's objectification by Kamoshida, and Carmen's design very much reflects.
I can't get over how weirdly she laughed there. Like, she was embarrassed and aroused at the same time.
Let's not read into that, okay?
Yeah, let's just keep going.
It was creepy.
Growth as a proud woman. She's dragging these men's bodies around, whose faces are a twisted allusion to a love-struck suitor. Carmen is in control of this situation. She's not beholden to these random men.
It's a metaphor!
Stepping on their backs or yanking them around by their necks.
She's
thank
you for explaining
proudly and
obvious
not letting
visual
ugly
metaphor
men get her
to us.
down. And Carmen's final form, Celestine, plays into those same concepts. Only it better alludes to her as a modern woman, and has many elements of her design that also fit into Ann's modeling career, specifically the stylish
this is from
outfit.
Royal.
But the persona you unlock by getting on to a level 9 confidant is Hecate, who is
Hecate?
a BDSM sexy witch lady.
What the fuck?
So?
Hecate? I really don't think that's the normal pronunciation.
No, it is. Hecate?
Hecate.
Hecate, yeah.
The A is short as well.
Yeah, Hecate. Hecate.
Hecate.
Anyway, don't use the German to correct your pronunciation, guys. It's not going to help.
Ah!
So what about this?
We need a Greek guy on here.
Oh god. That'll help.
Hecate is a BDSM sexy witch lady. What's the problem?
Yeah.
It's just her problem turned around. That she becomes the dominant.
I guess let's let her explain it.
It's very simple. It's just you turn the abuse around. End of story.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's dragging dogs around with her now, which feels so weird since Ann is specifically going with a cat theme.
Yeah, it's called
witch,
Cerberus. She's
chains, those tits.
a Greek
Who
goddess.
Thought this
What's
was
your
a good
point?
representation for.
It's symbolic, you retard. What do you think? Okay, On has a whip.
I don't know. Horror's persona has a gun under its skull in its final form. Like, it's okay. Yeah, congratulations. You discovered that the final form personas are, like, more fantastical. Because they're meant to be gods.
Yeah. This looks like some darkest, twisted version of someone.
Yeah.
And the dogs are Cerberus.
It's almost like if you have more than 2 brain cells, you can see this.
I mean, I remember one that always made me laugh was it Akihiko's persona was Caesar? I was like, what the hell? What the hell does that have to do with anything?
I don't remember.
It was Persona 3. Even Teddy's.
I never used Akihiko.
I know. Even Teddy's was this weird looking. What the hell was it? I don't remember. But he basically had a D-Day bomb or something. Like he always had this giant bomb he's about to throw at people. I was like, what the hell is that? It's so goofy looking. It's like, okay, whatever. That's fine. It's not a big deal.
This just feels like someone who's got no clue about Persona is now having a go at a good-looking woman in Persona because they don't like good-looking women.
Yeah, they don't understand the style of this sexual metal. Even Persona 2 was really weird. Like, it was futuristic goth, and this is like, you got some weird-looking keychain bullshit going with dog faces. Like, what is, like, it's crazy. It's supposed to be crazy. Don't try to interpret it. It's not, it's not supposed to be one-to-one. It's cool. It's hot. It's crazy. It's creepy. It's all that stuff at once. That's what's awesome about Persona series.
Oh, that's right. And Hecate was the goddess with 3 faces.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Representing the mother, the wife, and the crone.
Yeah.
Is that the third one?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Something like that. Anyway, it's not the most, clearly thing to put. Some of the names, you don't even recognize. They have like Japanese gods. You're like, what the hell legend is that? I have no idea. So, not a big deal.
On. I really feel like we could have gone with something that better fits On's growth, getting to that 9th level confidant status. By this point, we all know how hard On is fighting to grow with her career and has taken ownership of her sexuality. Hecate does nothing to portray these concepts.
Yes, she does. What? Are you blind? This concept?
She doesn't do anything to portray this concept after you described her as a sexy BDSM witch.
With dogs on chains.
She has like chains and metal tits. And
yeah, it's probably not most people's style, but she's the exaggerated version of that.
She's holding the leash of ferocious-looking hounds.
And she has this vampire cape thing going for her.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the eyes are very attractive, but it's a monster. It's supposed to be creepy.
This is like the over-exaggeration of someone taking control of sexuality. Yeah. This is like going completely overboard.
Can you imagine her wanting like Aphrodite coming out of the shell and being this wholesome nude, like Renaissance depiction? It's like, okay, that's not very
empowering.
It's just sort of woman, sure.
Yeah.
This is like, holy shit, she's going to do a number on you. You better run.
And on a more base level, Hecate is the goddess of magic, and On is your main mage. So
is it on purpose that the chain on the right side isn't connected?
Yeah, it's fine.
What do you mean?
The hound isn't really on the chain.
It's a 3D thing. You can't really tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all connected.
It's just a head. It doesn't have a body.
No, but she's not actually controlling the dog.
They're giant metaphorical keychains. Relax, it's okay.
Yeah, Wisp. You think too hard, you'll end
Does
up
that mean
in
she
influence.
lost control?
Sure.
But yeah, this is just like, this person is obviously just fucking blind.
Yeah, this is like looking at an adult version of Super Mario Brothers with those thwomps, and they're on chains.
All right, 4 minutes.
All right, let's go.
I need to eat.
Looking at it with the mind of a 12-year-old.
I think the biggest salt in the wound for me here is On is the only character who gets this treatment. We don't shove the camera down Makoto's shirt in this scene. We don't flash Haru's upper thighs in this scene. On is
well, she's in the car, but anyway.
literally the only one who gets forced into being an over-sexualized element in these cutscenes. It undermines her story and makes me feel bad for her. I hate having the camera objectifying her, but I'm well aware how much On hates
Male
it.
gaze.
Is it on purpose? Is the game trying to test me? Oh, you like On? Well, is it just because of her body?
No, the game is trying
is it just for her design?
to give
if you
fan
really liked
service
her,
to teenage boys. Because it's a game made for teenage boys. You're not the target audience, Western woman.
Yes, and it is for that's number one. Number two is, how else are you gonna show us how much she is still ashamed of herself if she doesn't get into such situations where that is being tested by her surroundings? We can't see an improvement about that at all, and change of attitude about it, if that never comes up.
Yeah, but Wisp, the main thing is she's good looking, so like the cameras linger on here, and it's like you show a scene where she's stood with other people, and it's like it's not lingering on her. She's just in shot, and she sorts her bikini out, and the camera's on her. It's like, okay, I know.
Yeah,
that's
there's
terrible.
cheesecake shots in a JRPG. That's the complaint.
Yeah. This is really like.
All right, let's go. Let's
go.
Tetris. Subscribe to my Patreon.
Matter, right? I wonder if maybe it's just a cultural issue. After all, perverted Master Roshi was played up for laughs, so maybe On sexualization is just a matter of being lost in translation. But
hold on, those guys.
No. It's just you being a retard.
No, but those guys had their shirts off, and that was obviously showing. They were quite ripped for teenage boys. Isn't that a problem? I don't like looking at that. Why is that being shown on screen? That's disgusting. I feel very uncomfortable with it.
It is a cultural disconnect, though. Japanese culture doesn't get angry when attractive women are portrayed as being attractive.
Yeah, that was the case here too in the West. It's not that long ago.
Yeah, but then
just go back 10, 20 years, and it was like that for half a century.
Yes, but then unattractive women start to be listened to, and we've all gone downhill since. Yes. So, as I always say, if an ugly person talks to you, walk away, ignore them.
Okay, Ken Kaneki in the chat informs me that she conveniently leaves out the fact that in the scene with the swimsuit, she's completely fine with being looked at and even laughs it off.
Yeah, and funny enough, that scene happens after the scene where they're in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like she's growing and going through a character arc. Let's get this over with.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to address the question my video is proposing. Is On problematic?
No.
Well, it's hard to say. While
no,
On
it's not.
It's hard to say. So you've gone through 11 minutes, 0.1 seconds.
Yeah, you've wasted 12 minutes of our time.
Yeah. It's hard to
Just
say.
12?
Yeah.
Well, assuming you're just watching this video.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not watching this.
Not doing what we're doing.
So you've gone through 12 minutes of doing all this shit to say, oh, it's hard to say. So that really means no, she's not. Because if you thought she was, you'd have an answer by now.
Yeah.
But you've had to say it's hard to say. So, Jesus Christ, what a waste! What a waste of time. Anyway,
Just keep going.
Is explicitly presented to be fetishized because of her body in some scenes, it really would be doing Anna a disservice if I pretended this was the only aspect of her character, because it really isn't. We might ogle Ann's thighs and tits, but that doesn't change the fact her character is well developed. After all, I've spelled it out here in this video. She is strong. She has overcome the stigma the world pushed onto her and embraced her sexuality for herself. And she's a fun character beyond
Yeah, and how is
that
that
main
supposed to be
aspect of her
portrayed if we never
development.
show it?
She's thoughtful, caring, funny, and she proves to us time and time again throughout the game that there's a lot more to Ann than just her body. I've just got a
that's
few
kind
poorly
of the point.
directed.
That's the point, you bloody bint.
No one is saying she isn't. What is...
wait, hold on. So
This idiot does not understand that in order to get exactly this message across, we need to go through the story with her that she went through. She wants, or seems to prefer, that we're just told that she is this awesome person and character without having to go through any struggle stuff.
oh my God, Anne is problematic because she's not a Mary Sue.
Yes!
Oh my God, it's hit me like a ton of bricks. Which is what I wish this YouTuber would be hit with, because this is... I don't care. Carry on.
Cutscenes take personality away from Ann. So no, I wouldn't say she's problematic, but I would say she's mismanaged. While I may be happy with Ann's development as a character beyond what the camera tells us, it doesn't change the fact that this sexualization of female characters needs to be addressed.
Characters!
I just
Characters!
There it is. There it is.
There's nothing wrong with having...
Said it outright. I didn't expect her to say it outright, but there it is. The problem is that she is sexualized. The problem is she is portrayed as attractive.
Yeah. That's it.
That's what we just pissed away 2 hours of our life on. Was for her to go full mask off and say the problem is that she's portrayed as sexy.
Yeah.
Not just her.
Because that is what that means. That is what that, yes, and that is what that really means. This is the newspeak trick that she probably doesn't even recognize. That she is being portrayed as sexualized really means, in normal speech, she's being portrayed as sexy. We are being shown that she is sexy. And to these people, showing that someone is sexy is immediately the same for them as sexualizing that person. But sexualizing someone is a completely different act as just looking at someone and saying that's a sexy person.
It's almost like it's trying to say it's bad to be good looking.
Yes.
You are wrong to be good looking. You should be punished for being good looking.
Yes,
Why?
and that is the brainwashing trick that is being played here.
But and as we say, it's done by these women, and I'm going to say women because men don't care really, but it's done by these women who are of average look.
Well,
it's jealousy thing.
The people who play these games don't play them because, oh, look at the hot babes. They have hours and like almost hundreds of hours sometimes. They can do that anywhere. Looking at hot babes or anime babes.
There's other games like this that are more sexual, and you can find way more sexual things than this.
Yeah, my first leisurely playthrough for Xenoblade 2 was 120 hours roundabout, and from these girls are looking way too good. They have way too good proportions. The camera's usually so far away you don't see anything. Because I need to see the battle, for fuck's sake. I need to see what's going on, so that I don't die against the unique monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Okay.
Especially when it goes against the entire point of said characters' struggles. It can be hard to feel comfortable with how the game displays on for me, to be able to stare at her body. Even her casual stance in combat.
She's a model. She wants to be a model. It's gonna happen. What is so hard to grasp?
If you had ever worked as a model, but you never will, you'd know this.
I mean, it's like, it's not part of her character. She wants to be looked upon professionally.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. That's the...
You know
why wouldn't we see her like that?
You have issues with your looks? Start working out. Do it right now. Do 10 squats. And tomorrow you do 10 more.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not even that. It's like, alright, you're not comfortable with how you look. That's fine. Be sad and all that shit. But just stop moaning about the fact that there might be people better looking than you. Or there might be characters that are attractive to look at. It's like you are so jealous of a video game character.
Yeah, you know.
It's like you have burning venom and a hatred of a video game character. A bunch of pixels.
You know,
a bunch of pixels are hurting your feelings.
Fit-looking people aren't just fit because they are lazy and stuff themselves with junk food. And just binge watch stupid shows and play video games 20 hours a day. No. Fit-looking people actually work out. They do things besides these things.
Yeah.
These things are not supposed to be all the time things. They're supposed to be our leisure time. That is in moderation. It's not supposed to be... It's everything in moderation. If you indulge in it, you don't turn to shit. Video games are okay. Not if it's all you do.
Yeah, but here's another
thing as well.
Even
pro gamers work out because they need to stay fit. They need to keep oxygen in their brains.
But Wisp, there's another thing as well. Being good looking is sometimes just really down to genetics.
It's part of it, yes.
Yeah, no, but sometimes you just get drawn the short straw.
Oh yes. Sure.
But the thing is, you can't. If you get drawn the short straw, I'm really sorry, but that's how life goes. Life is not fair.
Yeah, but most people I see complaining. Most of the girls I see complaining, they're just out of shape because they just indulge in bullshit.
Yeah, but Wes, let me just finish my point. What I'm saying is if you start moaning about other people and all that sort of stuff, you become... people don't feel sorry for you. They just start feeling like you're just moaning. You can, get on with your life.
They're not even trying.
Yeah. So, but now that these women are now going for pixels on screens in like video games, I say like this is bad because this is showing that there's attractive people in the world. It's like,
well, Hawk. Yeah. This is why they go at pixels and they go at advertisement posters of real women, by the way, because what do you think would happen if they would be complaining to real life good-looking women dressing nicely? What do you think would happen if they told them, you look over-sexualized, you look unrealistic, stop looking better than me?
Well,
what do you think would happen?
The models would probably say, yeah, and I'm fucking your boyfriends as well. So
I just recalled the ammunition you buy in the game is not real ammo, and it only works because you're in the metaverse and it's metaphorical. You're intending to kill someone, and the metaverse reacts to that as being real ammunition. So it's kind of funny.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, it's like I'm using toy guns and whatever, but you're gonna die.
I'm gonna kill you.
Anyway, it's all in your head. A lot of this is all mental, and if you can't accept half the game is played in this metaphorical world, and you're nitpicking about the sexy girl who wants to be a sexy girl when she grows up, you're like, okay, there's something wrong.
Like funny. I say, this just literally sounds like a unattractive person moaning at an attractive character, and it's like, right.
Anyway, we're almost done. Let's keep going.
as her leaning forward, shoving her ass up in my face.
Everyone's ass is in your face when you're... Oh, never mind.
You're jealous of her. You know, every woman... This is something that's not genetic. Every woman can have a nice ass if she does squats regularly.
Okay. Guys, get your exercise machine now. Do it. Come on, do some squats.
Yeah.
Yeah, squats are the easiest fucking thing to do.
Yeah, but right. The thing is, her ass is in my face. No, love. It's in everyone who plays this game's face. Everyone who plays this game has her ass in their face. It's just that you've decided to complain because you've looked at your own ass and gone, "Wow, I'm jealous."
Yeah, it's every camera angle that's low. Everyone's ass is in their face. It's just...
Yeah, but it's like it's everyone who plays Persona 5 will have her ass in their face when they play the game. So there's no problem.
Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going.
The game feel alienating. It makes it feel like I'm not supposed to be playing it because I'm not enjoying watching.
Are you fucking right?
Noah, I have to look at the pretty girl, and it reminds me that I'm not pretty. You bloody, you narcissistic, jealous ball of cells.
Like Axel said, this wasn't made for you. It was made for teenage boys to ogle at and just.
Do you think she'd enjoy Princess Maker?
I shouldn't enjoy fuck all unless it's some.
Which one?
The Troglodyte Adventures or something. I don't know.
All right. Anyway, 2 minutes. Let's hope for an advertisement.
Right.
How On gets treated. And while this is a detriment to the game itself, it isn't a character flaw on On's behalf.
What?
This is
You just said all of her persona was off. You said her tarot card was wrong. But it's not a detriment. It's fine. Okay. Whatever.
Isn't an issue I can nor should ignore. It devalues On's entire character arc. However,
No, it doesn't.
On's character arc itself is a powerful one, and one.
Wait, what did she just say?
Hold on, hold the fucking phone. It's a detriment to a character arc, but a character arc is still a strong one. No.
This is like double speak. Like, what are you saying?
How On gets treated. And while this is a detriment to the game itself, it isn't a character flaw on On's behalf.
Okay, so the game is made worse, but On is fine? I am so lost.
This isn't an issue I can nor should ignore. It devalues On's entire character arc.
So it is detrimental to... What the hell are you saying, lady?
So, no, but it devalues a character. Yeah, it devalues a character arc. And then she was going to say, but her character arc's a powerful one.
I gotta hear that one more time. I am just lost.
Because I'm not enjoying watching how On gets treated. And while this is a detriment to the game itself, it isn't a character flaw on On's behalf. This isn't an issue I can nor should ignore. It devalues On's entire character arc. However, On's character arc itself is a powerful one, and one I think we should really be focusing on. I can be optimistic about these.
Okay, so let me re-say this.
This is just insane.
This is a detriment to the game, but it's not a flaw of On's character. It is an issue she can't turn away from, but it does devalue On's character arc. So how the hell does it not have a flaw in her character or an issue with her character development? It's fine. Everything's fine with the character until we talk about her character arc. It devalues it. What aspect of her character arc, which is not related to her character, is devaluing On?
Yeah, but it's still. But the fact is, it devalues, but it's still powerful. I'm like, but if it's you devalue something, then it can't be powerful. What? You can't. What she just said doesn't make sense. That's all.
Okay, let's just run this through. I am done at this point.
Scenes and say it might be portraying the idea that On is growing more comfortable with showing off her body, tying into her modeling career goals, but I think the biggest issue is that it isn't presented as something On is necessarily striving to do.
She wants to be a... This is so... I can't...
It's implied the boy characters are the ones doing the staring, even if An isn't happy with that idea. I say we should use this as an...
What the fuck was that?
I have no idea.
But the boy characters are the ones who are staring. Yeah, boys stare at pretty girls. That's what happens. Do people not know that? That's what happens. Boys stare at her. Jesus.
Point does she think she's?
No, I'll stare. That's objectifying.
I'm done. Really, my mind is like, okay.
Yeah, this is twisting my brain into pretzels right now.
Yeah.
Is an important learn moment. What do we do as a consumer of media when they...
Oh, you know what? Shut up. You get to tell us as a consumer of media.
What? Not the only consumer of media.
What? This is... No, we're done. I'm sorry.
Thank you for that sudden, very late contribution, other person.
You're welcome.
But seriously, like, I mean, why this whole video has been my opinion, for me, in my opinion, I think, my opinion, and now it's what do we do? Nothing. Because this whole video is you complaining that you don't like it. 15 minutes of I don't like it, and now it's what do we do about it? Nothing. Piss up a rope. Pound sand. Kick rocks. Go play something else.
All right. Well, I have my comment all ready to go. I'm going to leave it on our video. We have no stream memes. Thank you guys for not doing a damn thing. I appreciate that. We don't have to go through anything painful today.
I just so much.
Yeah, you know, I know Anime Day was late, but I really do need that whiskey of some denomination.
It's crazy.
Okay. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I really want to have Sir Axel on a lot because we both love Persona, and he knows a little bit more about it than I do.
I like how she's like, these scenes don't sexualize the other characters while we show that scene of Yusuke looking at all of the girls at once.
He didn't inspire them.
Yeah, he looks at anything, and he goes gaga. He's that freaky, weird artist dude who just wants to paint freaking lobsters. It's so silly.
Oh, I can't wait to rewatch this.
Okay. Anyway, What? What was that?
Probably on.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That was another wild, crazy anime manga experience. I do appreciate everyone.
Oh my god! Wisp, sorry, I've just seen something that's happened today. That's actually kind of interesting.
Okay.
I don't know who that was who said like 3 things, but
it wasn't me.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah.
Howler's good, but
I don't know who this Howler person is, but
anyway, have yourself a great evening, folks. We appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you real soon. I hope. Who knows?